So everybody, welcome. This is Mr. Peter Amalbert. He currently serves as the video coordinator and analytics with UCF Baseball. UCF's a nationally ranked Division I program that's grown rapidly under Peter's tenure with the program, and he's a welcome member of our baseball ops community. So Peter, tell us about your roots. How'd you get into baseball? What's your story?
Just a small town kid from Kissimmee, Florida. Always had aspirations to work in baseball. Didn't know how to get in. How to create networks and just how am I going to get myself in here. And
Yeah,
I was really fortunate to get into UCF, and after taking the intro to sports management class with Professor Buckstein, which is that guy's best professor you'll ever have in your life. He was reached out from the equipment manager and at the time volunteer coach. They were looking for student managers. So he approached me about it. He said, hey, I'm not sure what it entails, but it's a start. It'll get your foot in the door in some capacity. So, I was super excited. I knew I was going to run away with it. And, I was always told that the sky was the limit. And, I ran away with it. I did it for 4 years. Obviously, this year got short. But, it just started out with a velo gun and some charting, learning what pitch recognition skills, just talking to coaches, meeting scouts coming into our stadium and different stuff. But yeah, just that was really a unique experience. We've had different coaches come in, so implementing things are obviously different, and just learning the environment, learning the people that you're around with. I'm really grateful of the coaching staff that I've been with, and I've learned way too many things that I can talk for hours of everything I've learned, but really fortunate. But it's just a story that's unique for everyone. I mean, I'm sure you've heard some stories too, and for everyone too, like everyone's story is unique. And yeah, I mean, whatever you want to ask me about my story, it's really fun.
Man, that's awesome. So I guess what are your passions that got you into that sort of track?
So passions for me was always just I want to be a part of it. I have that an itch of being competitive and wanting to be competing with the guys. I peaked little league playing baseball. Not my thing. Never the athletic one, but I always wanted to be a part of the game. So being competitive, wanting to learn things new every day, like what is going to set us apart from other programs. What can we do to be better? And what can we learn? I mean, Twitter is just ridiculous right now with the amount of things you learn. You got to be careful what you're learning too. But take everything with a grain of salt and run away with it. And yeah, just the competitive nature of being with the coaches, being with the guys every day. Those sunny days in the fall and early morning practices, it's just a grind, and I love it. I love the grind.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, having that passion for the game, that's something, a lot of people in it, I've always had. And I think that's great that you're so committed to your role, your team, helping the guys, committed to continually learning. I think that's awesome stuff.
For sure.
I'd love to learn more about kind of your 3 seasons with them. Do you have any key highlights or stuff you'd want to talk about?
Yeah, so my first season, probably the coolest start you could ever have as a student manager for any Division I program. It's winning a conference championship. First conference championship in a while. First year of our head coach, Craig Lovelady. Amazing time. The guys just clicked. Everyone bought in to his philosophy, to what he was bringing on. Big group of seniors that, they were hungry. All of us were hungry. Feeding the machines was a great time. Like everyone was competing against each other.
Awesome.
It was just a great time. And that was my first year. Second year was the second and third year were kind of transition years, as they were trying to bring in their recruits and just learning different things. The technology started coming into the offices, trying to sell us on different things. And it wasn't until that year that our new volunteer coach, Ted Tom, he became my mentor, I gravitated under his wing, and he took me, went far. So just taught me so many things. First one there, last one out. that's when those traits of working really, really hard came to fruition with him, and understanding scouting reports. Like I said earlier, pitch recognition skills, which is really, really important. Looking at our recruits, keeping everything clean, just being the best you can be in any situation that's put at you, was a skill that I was taught there, and I cannot be any more grateful. And then, which leads to this year, and obviously those 2 years we came last four out in the tournament, which was devastating. But you just learn from it and you try to get better. So, which leads to this year, which no one knew what to expect. We had a lot of freshmen, new guys coming in with almost a brand new team. I'd say 3/4 of the team are brand new. A lot of excitement. Our volunteer coach was Andy Barquette. He was with the Red Sox for a couple of years, won the World Series with them. Having him around was just unbelievable. Our pitching coach, Nick Gotti, had the guys that he wanted, and everyone was analytically inclined. They were ready. They knew what they had to do. It was just so exciting. Like, obviously, we swept Auburn, which was a heck of a time. We lost to Miami on our last game, but we fought hard, and a really, really fun team culture. The culture of the coming in every day was so much fun. You just loved being around those guys, and everyone just wanted to compete. Like, we wanted to be the best. We knew we could be the best. We knew we had the chance to go to Omaha, and that's always the goal for any Division I college program. But we really knew that we had the chance. So, just knowing that you have a chance to compete for that, but just knowing that we had the little extra edge this year was really fun and unfortunate, obviously.
And that's awesome. I was a former student athlete myself. I can hear your passion for what you do and then what you're building. It sounds like you got a great thing going. You kind of mentioned some of those technologies started coming in. How have you kind of started to implement some of them into your program?
Yeah, so we started off with just simple video cameras, and then cutting up different things on iMovie on our MacBooks. We have a handful of managers that devote their time to get better, to learn different things, acquire different skills that they're not going to get in the classroom. We're really fortunate to have them, and having that video was just the first start. Then we got into, with Coach Audie, we got into Rapsodo. We got into, it's not Edgertronic, I can't remember the name, but it's
Similar to Edgertronic.
It's similar to an Edgertronic camera, yeah. Chronos, I think it's Chronos. But yeah, just having that different image to look at, you obviously see it on Twitter, but having it in person was like, man, this is different. So implementing that was really, really cool. And then we got a video system called Exos, and we ran off with that. We got IP cameras on our stadium now, and we can see the game from different views. Our guys can watch it on their phones. Our coaches can watch it on their iPads at home. On the road, we can watch things quickly. And then we also got this year, we got our the Win VR, which is probably like my favorite tool. Really, really cool for the guys to come in and face the pitcher that they're going to face.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Pitch recognition, like, for them is just unbelievable. Like, it mentally prepares them for what they're about to do. So just implementing that slowly, like understanding what it does, how we can use it, the amount of time to use it, just really, really important. Obviously, I picked the brains of a lot of people. Like, I can't be thankful for a lot of people. You just learn about it all yourself too. So a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of late nights, just grabbing ideas from different people and then implementing it the right way and I think we went about it the best way we possibly could. And our guys love it. Our guys are fortunate enough too to have all the technology we have. And lastly, we have Flight Scope right now, which is similar to TrackMan. Obviously, we get the exit velos, launch angles, and tilts, and all that fun stuff. So obviously, guys are like, "Hey, was my exit velo on this pitch?" So you just have that information ready for them. So a lot of that's really, really cool, and it's just an extra benefit for the game that we have right now.
Definitely. Can you talk about some of the ways like the coaches and players kind of have adapted to it, or maybe instances that there were some problems that you tried to talk to these guys about why this can be beneficial to them?
Yeah, for sure. Like, that's I think Exos was the most beneficial to our coaching staff because they just have it on our computers. If a guy comes in, hey, like I'm trying to work on this, boom, they just pull up the video. We would record every practice, every game, every scrimmage. All that video was on there. So having that real information there with obviously the tagging that comes with it, like, hey, like this pitch was right here. This is what you're doing here. So obviously our hitting coach and pitching coaches just really, really benefited from that. And it was just a huge help for them in terms of development for our guys, especially during the fall. Having that tool, that resource, like, hey, like I know I can get better. Like this is what I did yesterday. This is what I can work on in the cage or on the bullpen, whatever it is, whatever the case may be.
That's awesome. So you're able to develop plans off the information that you get.
For sure, yeah.
So how do you stay up to date with these latest technologies? I know stuff changes so fast, and you mentioned you're always trying to learn. Do you have any particular places or you go to look to try to stay up to date on it all?
There's a couple places. There's a guy by the name of Jake Stone. He was the head student manager at Penn State, and now he is. I mean, he was at Iowa. Now he's at Penn State. He's a director of baseball ops, and he has a YouTube channel called Simple Sabermetrics, and that is just unbelievable. I stress to all our managers to watch that stuff and learn from it. I really relate to a lot of it, but it's just all the technologies. Like you go about it your own way. Like how are you going to do it? What do you think? What do you like? What do you don't like? And just learning from it. Like there's no right way to use it. There's no wrong way to use it. Because if there was a right way, like I believe that if there was a right way, we'd be winning championships and everyone would be winning World Series. Like same with everyone. So picking his brain, picking different people's brains from Twitter. Obviously, there's a few accounts that I can name that I follow too that I just enjoy what they say. But mainly for me, it's just reaching out from other student managers. Like I have friends from Iowa, Cal Poly, Elon. Like I can name you a few schools, and they're just great guys. Like they love talking about it. They love sharing information. Like what they learn. Hey, I found this out. Like, what do you think about this? Like just picking each other's brains, and I think that's awesome. Like the fact that student managers, which I think is the future of college baseball and eventually for professional baseball, we have a chance to do something really special. And I think we're at that point right now that all these student managers can run away with this data, can help coaching staffers get all these pro jobs. They can get pro jobs, which a lot of them are getting pro jobs too. And we're just running away with this. Like we're learning about it. And how can this tool help us? Like it's, to me, it's still ought to be determined. Like we're still figuring that stuff out.
That's awesome. Yeah, you can always stay learning and use the people in our network to just never know who you can learn from, where you'll go. I know in your background you had some different roles in the game, like you served as trackman with the Braves. Do you have any like things you learned in those experiences that help prepare you for where you're at now?
Yeah, the trackman spot was a really cool one. I sold tickets during spring training games for the Astros back in high school and when I graduated. And the owner was the president of like the stadium and I knew him. So he was like, hey, like I need someone to run this trackman thing. Like I have no idea what it is. So I was like, figure it out, like whatever. Let's do it.
Jump on board for it.
Yeah, so we did that for a couple of years, which is totally fun. Met people from the Braves organization. They were just all great, genuine people. If we had any issues with it, we would call them immediately, and they immediately picked up the phone, which is awesome. Like to me, I was not expecting that, and that was just really cool for me. And picking their brain a lot. Like I got to talk to a lot of players. Met Ronald Acuna, Luis Gohara. Watched Pache play center field, run back and forth really fast. Watching those guys was really cool. And TrackMan is just awesome. Like all those Flight Scope, TrackMan, all these ball tracking devices are really cool and how they pick up that stuff. Tracking it was super easy. And understanding that, we had to do it in a timely manner. Like we had to let them know if we had issues, different things we saw. Like if we saw something that was probably an outlier, like we sent it in an email because we had to send an email out to the Braves organization. And it was a really, really cool experience. Like just, for me, that focus was just TrackMan. Like I didn't have anything else. Like I just came into the stadium, watched the game play, and did TrackMan. And to me, it's kind of a video game. It was just really cool, like watching that organization build up. And obviously all those guys are now Braves. So it's really cool to have seen some of them develop.
Man, that's awesome. I got one more question for you for our chat today. Do you have any ideas for the next edge in kind of baseball development? Do you have any kind of things you've been thinking about that might come up?
I think there will be new statistics. I'm sure I know that a lot of organizations have kept those statistics to themselves. Um, but I think that in the next 5 years we're going to start seeing some new metrics. Um, something that might be different for um, just any organization, like even college, like creating a new formula. Obviously, like WOBA has come to fruition a lot. FIP has come into fruition a lot. So understanding those, and I think in the next few years we're going to start seeing some things, and they'll be incorporated into broadcasting. And then I think for me, another thing too is just broadcasting is going to change. I think the way that we watch the game, it's going to be more analytical, more cool. Like seeing all the home runs with the launch angle and the numbers. Like I think we're going to see that for everything now, and I think that's really cool. And it just teaches players and fans, and mainly fans, like, hey, like there's a lot to this game that you guys should look into.
And that's so awesome. Well, again, thanks so much for your time today. I've loved learning from your insights, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.